From the studios of Farm Journal Broadcast, this is AgDay.
New hope for some people fighting a deadly cancer.
I'm not ready to give it up yet.
How AI could possibly unlock some clues to a cure. As two of President Trump's picks to lead key cabinet positions face senators' questions.
Our farmers, our ranchers, and our fishermen are treated with disrespect.
Or am I the enemy of food producers?
What they had to say that could impact farmers and ranchers right now on AgDay.
AgDay is brought to you by Pioneer. Pioneer brand corn has game-winning statistics like a 10 bushel per acre yield advantage. Pioneer brand corn, your best year starts here.
Good morning, I'm Clinton Griffiths. President Trump's choice to lead the Department of Health and Human Services is grilled by lawmakers. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. facing questions before the Senate Finance Committee. AgDay's Michelle Rook joins me. Michelle, Kennedy tried to ease farmers' concerns about his stances against GMOs, additives, and pesticides.
Well, he tried, Clinton, but Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s position in all of these areas has made his nomination highly controversial in the ag community. He's long opposed highly processed foods and food additives. And as an environmental lawyer and once head of the Waterkeepers Alliance, he also fought against corporate farms and litigated to remove common tools farmers use in crop and livestock production. In Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s opening statement, he directly addressed concerns among farmers and ranchers that he's not anti-agriculture and won't use his authority and nutrition agenda in HHS to regulate agriculture.
Or am I the enemy of food producers? American farms are the bedrock of our culture, of our politics, of our national security. I was a 4-H kid, and I spent my summer working on ranches. I went to work with our farmers. I want to work with our farmers and food producers to remove burdensome regulations and unleash American ingenuity. MAHA simply cannot succeed without a partnership, a full partnership of American farmers.
Republican Senator Chuck Grassley challenged Kennedy to prioritize rural health care needs, lower drug costs, provide transparency on conflicts of interest on dietary guidelines, and keep his nose out of agriculture.
I expect you to leave agricultural practice regulations to the proper agencies, and for the most part, that's USDA and EPA.
I agree with all of those provisions, Senator. My approach to administration HHS will be radical transparency.
Kennedy detailed his goals of trying to make America healthy again, saying it can be done through nutrition-based prevention, which could potentially shake up U.S. food production.
Should I be so privileged as to be confirmed, we will make sure our tax dollars support healthy foods. We will scrutinize the chemical additives in our food supply.
Democratic Senator Ron Wyden accused Kennedy of trying to take vaccines away from people, which he refuted.
In May of 2021, you petitioned the Food and Drug Administration to not only block Americans from having access to the COVID vaccine, but to prevent any future access to the life-saving vaccine. Are you denying that? Your name is on the petition.
We brought that petition after CDC recommended the COVID vaccine without any scientific basis for 6-year-old children.
In the end, even if Kennedy is confirmed as HHS Secretary, agriculture will need to be on its toes. I'm Michelle Rook reporting for AgDay.
All right, thanks, Michelle. Another President Trump's nominees also questioned on Wednesday. Howard Lutnick is being considered for Secretary of Commerce. Lutnick appearing before the Senate Commerce, Science, and Transportation Committee. He was asked about tariffs, saying he prefers across-the-board tariffs rather than targeted ones.
Our farmers, our ranchers, and our fishermen are treated with disrespect. The countries take advantage of American kindness, American gratitude that we used to rebuild the world after the world wars and after the Korean War and after the Vietnam War. We need that disrespect to end. And I think tariffs are a way to create reciprocity, to be treated fairly, to be treated appropriately. And I think it will help our farmers, our ranchers, and our fishermen to flourish And that's what I expect this administration is going to drive. And that's why I'm honored to serve President Trump in his pursuit of that reciprocity and that fairness and the end of the disrespect.
The billionaire financier said he would sell all of his business holdings within 90 days, saying, quote, "I made the decision. I've made enough money in my life," end quote. On Wednesday, the White House Budget Office rescinded an order that would have put a freeze on federal grants. It came a day after a U.S. district judge issued a stay delaying the plan from the Trump administration. Now, the White House had directed agencies to pause all federal finance assistance targeting DEI programs, gender policies, and Green New Deal initiatives. Not covered by the freeze, Social Security and Medicare benefits, direct assistance programs such as food stamps and welfare, along with humanitarian food aid. However, it was unclear what the freeze would mean for disaster relief and education programs. Now, the Office of Management and Budget pulling the order in a 2-sentence notice to agencies and departments. It was a program that has seen support from many Republicans in the past, but now one Texas Republican is proposing the Clean Fuels Production Credit be repealed. Representative Beth Van Dyne introducing a bill to repeal 45Z, which was established under the Inflation Reduction Act. Now, we've been telling you about the credit, which took effect on January 1st. It incentivizes low carbon biofuel production and supports climate smart ag practices. Now, the Treasury Department recently issued preliminary guidance on 45Z, and USDA unveiled interim rules for climate smart farming practices aimed at improving carbon intensity scores for crops used in biofuels. Some areas of the South that saw snow last week are now seeing heavy rain. Meteorologist Jack Van Meter has the latest for us.
We're just going to be talking about the ever-changing weather pattern, especially for some of our friends in the Gulf states. This time, we're actually going to be talking about severe weather. There's this large low-pressure center that is going to be moving through, causing showers, storms, and again, the potential for some of those storms to be fairly strong. We're looking at an area that's probably going to encompass much of eastern Texas, going through Louisiana. Actually, that's where the heartbeat, if you will, and the best part, if you will, to see severe weather, going all the way out to Mississippi too. And this is the threats that are going to be on the table from today's shot of severe weather. First off, we could be talking about a few tornadoes. We're not looking at a major tornado outbreak with this system just because temperatures and moisture isn't exactly right. But that being said, some of the wind is right, especially in the upper atmosphere. We're looking at damaging winds, rain, and also the potential for some hail to develop, especially bullseye around Louisiana. And this beautiful sunrise was captured in Dublin, Ireland. Just unbelievable. Look at that spectacular coloration we're seeing there. Thank you so much for sharing this. I'll have more in your forecast coming right up.
Coffee prices continue to surge. On Tuesday, future prices for Arabica coffee from Latin America jumped nearly 2%. Now, the increase follows President Trump saying he would impose a 25% tariff on Colombia. The White House then paused that decision following Colombia's cooperation. Now, Colombia is the third largest coffee producing country in the world. Now, according to the World Bank, Arabica coffee prices were already on the rise, increasing 13% in December. Now, weather is impacting coffee production in regions like Brazil and Colombia, and the challenges date back to 2011. Soybeans with a double-digit day of gains on Wednesday. We'll talk price movement and what's next in markets now. And later, pancreatic cancer is often deadly, but scientists in Ohio are leveraging the power of AI to better predict outcomes. That story in Ag for Your Health.
AgDay is sponsored by Germinator Closing Wheels. Germinator steel closing wheels, perfected in conventional, excels in no-till. Order 12 to 16 rows today and qualify for free shipping or 20% off an end zone moisture management package.
Corn futures rallied to an 8-month high midweek, and soybeans and wheat pushed higher too. Michelle Rook has more as corn pushed over that $5 mark in markets now.
Nice rally in the grains on Wednesday with the cattle market setting back. Kent Beadle is joining us with analysis. Kent, let's talk about the rally in grains. Corn new highs for the move. Are we putting in South American weather premium there?
Oh, we absolutely are, and we need to because, the world corn balance sheet actually is quite tight if you strip out China, one of the tightest since 1995, 96. It was reported that the planting progress of the safrinha crop is, now getting to be historically slow. And it was that report that really got the market up and moving with a new high for the move. And we've got our sights now set on about $5.09, which is the next resistance on the continuation charts.
Can we build on this and all of the grains? Because I would assume wheat followed, but some of that might have been some end of month short covering.
Yeah, well, the funds are extraordinarily short wheat. They've covered all their position in corn, covered their position in soybeans. They are still very short wheat. And yet wheat is now at a price where we're, preciously close to finding its way into the feed ration. So if corn wants to continue to rally on South American weather, I think the wheat's going to come with it.
And will soybeans follow as well?
Soybeans can. We have situation right now where, crush margins have actually started to improve a little bit again. We are now 40 cents a bushel higher than where we were on this date a year ago.
And cattle set back, is that just some routine profit taking?
We think so. It's going to be very, very choppy from these levels. Prices, of course, are historically high, and we anticipate that the easy money, of course, has been made. It's going to be very volatile. We still recommend that growers try to manage their risks here, but the fundamentals are still extraordinarily good. Everybody is waiting for the inventory report on Friday afternoon.
Thanks so much, Kent Beadle with Paradigm Futures. We'll have more AgDay coming up. Watch Markets Now with Michelle Rook on the Farm Journal YouTube channel, keeping you updated throughout the day on the markets at the open, midday, and close. Find out what moved the markets today and what to expect the market to do next.
Let's go ahead and start off the forecast with a look at the strong to severe storm potential in the deep south for today. Starting right now at 7 o'clock in the morning, just a few hours from now, we are starting to see some of the rain start to develop. Again, we're pulling a lot of Gulf moisture up, and as we can see, we're dealing with some pretty heavy showers from Dallas all the way down to Houston. That being said, we're not going to be looking at the severe threat until later in the morning and into the early afternoon. As I play this through, we can see that some of these the line of storms really starts to stretch out there, and that's when we can actually really start to see, again, some of these stronger storms develop. This is on Friday, and pretty much by Friday, most, if not all, of the energy will be eaten up. That being said, folks from all the way down south to all the way up in Maine will be getting precipitation of rain, and then only to the extreme north, we're talking New England states, we'll be seeing some rain there. That being said, for the rest of the country, fairly dry if you're not on the west coast there, where another atmospheric river looks to be moving in with some mountain snow intermingled, if you will, with that system. Not too bad there. But as for temperatures, as for today, not bad at all. Really starting to actually warm up, especially for this time of the month. Take a look at this. Chicago, 53 degrees, not bad at all. Same deal down in St. Louis. But again, down south, we can see exactly why they can expect some stronger weather. 74 degrees down there in New Orleans. And if we go all the way out to Dallas, 66 degrees. So that's exactly where that cold front is starting to line up. And take a look at our low temperatures. We can really start to see where that all the warmth is starting to move up from the Gulf. So again, it's no wonder that they're looking at some stronger storms. And as for tomorrow, for your Friday, not bad whatsoever. So again, warming up through much of the country. That being said, if you are down south, especially in Louisiana, make sure you're weather aware today. Cooperstown, North Dakota, 35 degrees and a low temperature of 11 degrees. Jamestown, Ohio, we're talking 48 degrees, 41 degrees, mostly cloudy conditions. And finally, Fender, Arkansas, 59 degrees and a low of 46.
The livestock industry asks about maintaining its workforce. We'll talk labor coming up next. And later, artificial intelligence is helping doctors and scientists better predict pancreatic cancer. That story in Ag for Your Health. ICE is reporting a growing number of immigration-related arrests, and Drover says that's raising concerns about the possibility of disruption and financial impacts to producers and consumers. Now, the director of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has said the deportations are focused on public service threats and criminals. Many essential industries, including in the livestock and ag sectors, depend on foreign-born workers, and they want to make sure they have access to a workforce vital to the production of food. Matt Teagarden is the CEO of the Kansas Livestock Association. He says U.S. Ag must have access to a reliable legal labor force.
We need to secure our borders while simultaneously offering guest worker programs that meet the needs of the livestock industry. Violent criminals should be deported, but we also need legal pathways for the hardworking, law-abiding, tax-paying immigrant workers who are so critical to many important industries.
Teagarden says legislation is needed to positively affect the livestock sector. Previous legislation, called the Farm Workforce Modernization Act, attempted to provide an opportunity for legal status for agricultural workers who have been in agriculture, but Congress has yet to pass a bill that would provide a permanent solution. Recent political turmoil has further weakened South Korea's currency, but consumers there appear largely unfazed by the situation. And experts say it has not impacted demand for U.S. red meat. In fact, South Korea is the leading value market for U.S. beef exports. And this week's Lunar New Year typically drives both retail and food service sales of red meat.
Importers' profitability impacted a lot already because of the high exchange rate and the tight beef supply from U.S. But I don't think that it will affect the consumption in general. And it is proven that the year-end sales at the retail in Korea was very good because people stay at home and enjoy their meal and have a party with their families and the friends.
The U.S. Meat Export Federation says shipments through November of last year totaled just over $2 billion. That's up 5% from the previous year. Pancreatic cancer has traditionally been one of the deadliest cancers. But scientists in Ohio are working to be smarter about the risk in order to save lives. That story next. Small cysts or lesions that develop in the pancreas are extremely common, affecting up to 20% of those over 60. About 1/4 of them will develop into a deadly form of cancer. In this morning's Ag for Your Health, Emily Gibbs explains how doctors are now using artificial intelligence to help save lives in this report, courtesy of the Ohio State University Comprehensive Cancer Center.
After successful surgery for bladder cancer, Jim Blair worried he'd be back in the operating room when testing revealed precancerous cysts in his pancreas.
I'm getting older. The older you get, the more trouble you have with anesthesia and tolerating surgeries.
But he was relieved to learn surgery wasn't the only option. Dr. Somashekar Krishna, a gastroenterologist at the Ohio State University Comprehensive Cancer Center, James Cancer Hospital, and SoLove Research Institute, uses images of the cyst to determine the best course of treatment. But identifying cancerous risk factors in hundreds of fast-moving video images can be difficult and sometimes inaccurate.
What we can do is we can slow the video down frame by frame and scroll, and then you can easily pick it up.
To speed up this tedious process, Dr. Krishna is using artificial intelligence.
We are training the AI to reliably identify, detect, or kind of what we call as risk stratify low versus high risk precancerous lesions, precancerous cysts.
Information that provides a clearer path forward for his patients. For Jim, it was a new minimally invasive procedure pioneered by Dr. Krishna and his team that treats the cyst using heat, an alternative to major surgery.
The thermal energy destroys the inner lining of the cyst, kind of burns the inner lining of the cyst,
eliminating the threat of pancreatic cancer before it even develops.
I'm not ready to give it up yet, and so I wonder if there's something else that could be done. let's go get her done.
At the Ohio State University Comprehensive Cancer Center, James Cancer Hospital, and So Love Research Institute, I'm Emily Gibbs.
And that's all the time we have this morning. We're sure glad you tuned in. From all of us here at AgDay, I'm Clinton Griffiths. Have a great day on the farm.